This is the best and the worst of the Panasonic LUMIX S1R2. Now, there's no denying the fact that the LUMIX S1R2 is an incredible camera, but I do feel like there are a couple flaws that I will get into here in just a little bit. Here's why I think that some of these best features are not only the best of the S1R2, but some of the best LUMIX features in general that they put out in a while. If you're new here, my name is Caleb, and I want to help you master your LUMIX cameras like the S1R2. If that's something you're interested in, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Now, thanks to LUMIX, I was able to get my hands on the S1R2 just a little bit early. One of the things that stuck out to me right away is just that image quality downsampled from that 8K sensor. Now, at the time of recording this, there will be an update coming out that will give us the full 8.1K open gate shooting on here. But if you're recording video in maybe like a Cinema 4K or 4K, that image is downsampled from that 8K sensor. And then what happens is that creates a very sharp, very pleasing looking image. Now, I know that might not totally be something that you want, especially if you're doing a little bit more like filmmaking, making short films. You might want a little bit of a softer, more cinema style looking image, and that's totally fine. This might not be the right camera for you in that setting. Now, this might be the right camera for some pro videographers out there that are doing a little bit more social media content or just professional content in the way that you would be shooting interviews and just a little bit more of a corporate style. So it really kind of depends on the type of content that you're making. Might be right for corporate work, might not be right for short films or cinematography work. But the 8K sensor and the downsampled 8K image is beautiful. The second best feature that I have to point out is just the fact that LUMIX put false color in this camera. I'm a big fan of this move, LUMIX, and not only just for this camera, but I really see that this is kind of a step forward to maybe a future cinema camera. So I really feel like a lot of these little steps that LUMIX is doing right now, like putting false color in a camera like this, I do feel like that's leading to something else coming down the line. I don't have any information. I don't know. I don't want to start rumors. And this isn't a conspiracy channel, but I do think features like that line up well for what might be coming down the line. But I'm a big fan of false color, and that means you could just take this out like this, right? And you have, some excellent monitor features. Not only that, but like the way the monitor pops out and spins around, you have a lot of different options when shooting video. Now with false color, you could eliminate your big monitor on here and just truly go hybrid. Now there's a lot of great features, but I'm just going to go with one more on my best of the S1R2 list, and that is going to be the no crop stabilization. With just the regular image stabilization, just built into the camera, it takes a lot of those micro jitters out. But it's nice having that stabilization without the crop, so you can actually use the focal length that you want to use and not have to put on a wider lens or anything like that. And will it totally eliminate a gimbal? If you're a gimbal user, you're probably going to want to keep using a gimbal, but you're able to do a lot of movement with this stabilization, and now with the cropless stabilization on the S1R2, which I hope is a feature moving forward on all LUMIX cameras. But I feel like it's just a great move putting it in a video powerhouse camera like the S1R2. Now, this isn't just a video about the best of the S1R2. We have to hit on some of the worst of the S1R2. And one of the things that's going to go on my worst list for the S1R2 is just the power distribution. And what do I mean by power distribution? Depending on your battery situation and if you're recording to an SSD, you might be limited in the record formats if you don't have enough power. So some of this video is going to require some extra batteries at this point, whether that's an extra V-mount battery or it's the new battery grip. If you are recording to SSD, because of the extra power that it takes to record to the SSD, it will black out some of those shoot settings. So this could affect some of you depending on your workflow. I do a lot of SSD recording on these LUMIX cameras because I'm handing off the files to my clients. Now, thankfully, I do run a lot of external batteries. However, you're going to want to take that into consideration if you're looking at the S1R2, depending on your storage workflow. Now, if you're just recording to the CF Express card, you should be fine. But once you get into some of the raw recording, 8K recording, if you want to record to an SSD drive, you're going to need some extra power output. Another thing I would add to my worst list of the LUMIX S1R2, and this is getting a little nitpicky, but it is the actual body. Here's the thing. It's similar to the size of the S5 II or the S5 IIX, but it's just a little bit bigger. And so the cages that you have for the S5 II, S5 IIX, you technically should not try to force them on this camera body right here. So the reason I would put this on my worst list is because it's so close to that camera body style of the S5 II, S5 IIX, but it's not the same. But just by millimeters off, you can't use some of those other accessories. You have to get all new accessories for the S1R2. Obviously, with that, it comes a little bit more of an expense, right? It's just so close to the S5 II and S5 IIX. Why not just make it the same size? Do I love the flip out screen and tilt screen? Yes, I do love that about this camera body. I love the new switch that you have for, you know, the video, photo, slow and quick modes. But why would it be just a little bit off where you can't use some of these other S5 II accessories? Well, that's what I have for the best and the worst of the S1R2. Are there other things, other questions that you have about the S1R2? Let me know down in the comments and we can get a conversation started down there. Now, if you want to know more details about the S1R2, check out this video that's popping up on your screen right here. I go through a lot more of the settings and there's a bunch more sample shots in that video. So go check that out and I will see you over there.